Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here. Tonight, you don't have to go out. You don't have to squeeze into a crowded room. You don't have to count down with strangers, or pretend you're having fun, or force your smile to stay awake. Tonight, you get to choose the softer version of this night. A night that belongs to warm light, quiet breath, and safe solitude. Just for now. Let your body sink into whatever is holding you up. A bed, a couch, a pillow, the gentle support beneath you. Steady and patient. And if it feels good, let your jaw loosen. Let your teeth drift slightly apart, as if your face is remembering. It doesn't have to work tonight. Take a slow breath in through your nose and a softer breath out. Not forced, just allowed. There's a particular kind of quiet you can choose on New Year's Eve. And it's not sadness. It's not loneliness. It's not missing out. It's the quiet that says, I'm choosing peace tonight. In your mind, imagine that you've already made your choice. You've already stepped away from the noise and into a place that feels private and warm and real. Tonight, your mind is traveling somewhere far from the city streets. Not far in a stressful way, far in a relieving way, far enough that the loud parts of the world become smaller than your own breath. You are arriving at a lighthouse cabin, perched on a calm, rugged coastline. Not the kind of place you climb or balance or brave. The kind of place you enter and exhale and feel the door close behind you like a promise. Outside, the sea is dark velvet. The sky is deep and clear, with a few winter stars pinned in place, like quiet thoughts that don't need attention. And above it all, the lighthouse turns, slowly, sending a pale sweep of light across the water, over and over, like a steady hand smoothing a blanket. You don't hear it, you just see it. A gentle arc of brightness, moving with patience, never rushing, never demanding. Now, in your imagination, you're walking up a short, sheltered path toward your cabin. There's no wind that fights you, only a soft winter breeze, cool against your cheeks and kind enough to make the warmth inside feel even better. Your boots step onto wooden boards, and the porch gives a quiet, friendly creak. The cabin window glows amber, as if someone poured honey into the glass. You reach for the door handle. It's cool under your palm, even through your sleeve, and the metal feels solid, dependable, like it has kept people safe for a long time. You turn it and step inside. Warmth meets you immediately. Not a blast of heat, just a steady, lived-in warmth rising from the floorboards and the hearth and the soft glow of lamps. The air smells like pine wood, a hint of salt from the sea, and something faintly herbal like dried lavender tucked into a drawer. You close the door behind you, and there's a quiet, satisfying click. Not fear, not shutting the world out, just keeping your peace, and for a moment, you stand very still and listen to the cabin's hush. The faint murmur of a fire, the soft tick of a clock, and somewhere outside, the ocean breathing in long, slow waves. and far, far away, so distant it feels like another planet. The world is preparing to shout 10, 9, 8 into the night. But you don't have to follow that noise. You don't have to perform a new beginning. You don't have to prove anything to the calendar. Tonight, the lighthouse keeps watch for ships at sea, and this story keeps watch for you. If you fall asleep at any point, that's perfect. You don't need to stay awake for every word. You can drift whenever you're ready, and the gentle night will continue on without asking anything of you. Now, take one more slow breath in and let it out a little longer. Safe solitude, warm inside, quiet outside. You hang your coat on a hook by the door. The fabric settles with a soft sigh, like it's glad to stop working too. Your shoes come off easily, and your feet meet the warmth of a thick, woven rug. It's textured and comforting under your toes, like the cabin is offering you a quiet handshake. On a small table near the entrance, there's a lamp already turned low. A warm bulb, honey-colored, the kind of light that makes corners feel soft instead of sharp. And next to it, a simple note on thick paper. No long message, just a few gentle lines in calm handwriting. Welcome, make yourself comfortable. Soup ingredients are in the pot. Herbs are by the bath. If you want to leave something behind tonight, there's a small wooden box in the top drawer. You don't need to respond. You don't need to call anyone. It's simply there, a small kindness waiting for you, like a blanket left folded at the end of the bed. And now, you make your first quiet boundary of the night. You take your phone in your hand, not with urgency, not with dread, just with neutral calm. You notice the smooth glass, the weight of it, the way it can tug at your attention like a small, impatient child. But tonight, you gently take your attention back. One simple tap, do not disturb. Maybe you lower the brightness until the screen is only a dim glow, as soft as moonlight on snow. And then you place it face down on the table, not thrown away, not punished, just rested. That small action creates space inside you immediately, like a tight strap loosening, like a room becoming bigger because you opened one window in your mind. Now, you look around the cabin. It's simple and beautiful and thoughtfully arranged. A sofa with a thick knit blanket draped over one arm. A wooden chair near the window, positioned perfectly to watch the sea and the lighthouse beam and the distant horizon. A small kitchen with a kettle, a pot, a chopping board, and a row of mugs hanging from hooks like little sleeping birds. And in the corner, a fireplace glowing low, not roaring, just breathing. The kind of fire that makes no demands. It simply exists, steady and kind. You walk over to it and hold your hands out for a moment, feeling the heat touch your palms. You don't have to think anything profound. You can just enjoy the sensation, warmth meeting skin, after a long year of doing your best. The lighthouse beam passes across the window, a soft sweep of pale light, and then it moves on again, It's a reassuring rhythm, a reminder that something out there is keeping watch, so you don't have to. Now, you make a tiny list for yourself. Not a to-do list, not productivity, just a gentle sequence, like a lullaby made of small actions. Soup, bath, window seat. That's all. 3 soft steps toward midnight, without the crowd, without the noise. And as you begin, your body starts to understand what this night is for. A slow breath in and out. Safe solitude. Warm inside. Quiet outside. You move toward the kitchen. The kitchen is small, but it has everything you need. Clean counters. A kettle that looks like it's been polished and cared for. A pot on the stove, already waiting like a patient thought. You turn on the smallest burner, and the flame catches with a quiet, steady sound. In the pot, there are chopped vegetables in a bowl beside it. Carrots, celery, potatoes, a handful of onions already sliced thin, their sharpness softened by the promise of heat. A little jar of herbs sits nearby. Thyme, bay leaf, and something that smells faintly of rosemary, like clean winter air. You add a small splash of oil to the pot, and it glistens at the bottom, catching the warm light from the lamp. Then, slowly, you tip in the onions. They land with a gentle sizzle, not loud, just alive enough to be comforting. You stir with a wooden spoon, and the sound is soft, a quiet circle, wood against metal, like a slow rhythm you can breathe with. As the onions soften, you add the vegetables one by one. Not rushed, just steady. Carrots in, a small tumble of color, like tiny lanterns in the pot. Celery, pale and crisp, then quickly warmed by steam. Potatoes, simple and grounding, the kind of food that feels like a gentle hand on your shoulder. You sprinkle in salt, just a little, and the herbs, a pinch of thyme, a bay leaf laid on top like a small green bookmark, marking this moment as safe and warm. Then you pour in broth, and the sound is soothing, a long, smooth stream, and the pot becomes a quiet pool of comfort. Steam begins to rise, soft and curling, as if the air itself is stretching, letting go, and settling into the night. You lower the heat, just enough for it to simmer gently. A small, steady bubbling that feels like a heartbeat you can trust. And while the soup quietly becomes itself, you fill the kettle and set it on the stove too. A mug hangs from its hook, waiting. You choose one, heavy and warm in your hands, and set it on the counter like a little anchor for the rest of your night. Outside the window, the lighthouse beam passes again. You see the pale light glide across the glass, and for a moment, it paints the kitchen in a softer silver tone before it moves on back to the sea. There's something quietly comforting about a lighthouse. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's consistent. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships. It doesn't shout instructions. It simply shows up, again and again, with the same calm message. There is land here. There is safety here. And tonight, you are doing something similar for yourself. You are showing up calmly for your own nervous system, creating warmth, creating boundaries, creating a little light that says, you can rest now. We have Christ. While the soup simmers, you take a wooden board and slice a small piece of bread. The knife moves slowly, a soft sawing sound, and then the bread yields, clean and simple, with a faint scent of flour and warmth. You place the slices on a plate. Nothing fancy, nothing to prove. Just food that loves you back in a quiet way. Now the kettle begins to hum softly. Not loud, just present, as if it's thinking about boiling, and then deciding to do it slowly. You pick a tea bag or a small spoonful of loose tea, something gentle, maybe chamomile, maybe a sleepy blend with lavender, maybe peppermint, clean and calming. You place it in the mug and wait just a moment while the kettle finishes its thought. Then you pour the water. The stream is smooth, and steam rises immediately, wrapping your fingers in warmth like a tiny scarf made of air. You stir once, just once, and the spoon makes a soft clink against the ceramic, a quiet bell that only you can hear. Now the soup is ready, not because a timer told you so, but because you can feel it in the smell and the way the steam rises and the way the kitchen has turned into a warm little world. You ladle soup into a bowl slowly, watching it fill, the vegetables drifting gently, the broth shining under the lamp. You carry the bowl to the small table by the window and sit down. The chair is sturdy, comfortable, and the blanket on the back is already waiting. You pull it around your shoulders, and instantly your body understands again. Warm inside, quiet outside, safe solitude. You take the first spoonful slowly. The heat is gentle, not burning, just warming you from the inside out. And maybe, for a moment, the taste stirs something familiar. A memory of winter evenings, of kitchens, of someone quietly making sure you were fed, of a year that felt simpler, or a single night that did. You don't need to chase the memory. You can let it sit beside you, like the lighthouse beam, passing and passing again without demanding attention. Another spoonful, another slow breath, and somewhere far away, the city begins its countdown. But you only see it here as a distant glow on the horizon, a faint shimmer, silent, like far-off lightning with no thunder. You eat at your own pace, and when the bowl is empty, you feel pleasantly heavy in the best way. Not weighed down, just anchored. You rinse the bowl gently, water running softly, and set it on a towel to dry. You take your mug of tea, and the herbal warmth follows you like a quiet friend. Now, it's time for the next soft step, bath. The bathroom in the cabin is small, but it feels like a sanctuary. A deep tub, clean white porcelain, a wooden bath tray across the top, and a folded towel stacked neatly like a promise. You won't be cold when you step out. On a shelf, there's a small jar of herbs and salts, and beside it, a candle. Just one. That's all you need. You turn the tap, and water begins to fill the tub. The sound is steady, soothing, like rain in another room. You sprinkle the herbs into the stream, and the air changes immediately. Lavender, eucalyptus, a hint of something earthy and clean, like pine needles warmed by sunlight. The candle lights with a soft, quick flare. Then it steadies, a small flame breathing slowly, as if it's learning your pace. While the tub fills, you take off your sweater, your shirt, slowly, without rushing, without the feeling that you have to get ready for anything. Because tonight, you are already ready. Ready to rest. Ready to be private. Ready to stop performing. When the water is deep enough, you step in carefully. One foot, then the other, and the warmth rises up your legs like kindness. You lower yourself into the tub, and the water holds you, like the bed will hold you later, like the earth holds everything without complaint. Your shoulders sink down, your chest softens, your belly relaxes, not because you told it to, but because the heat invites it to. Take a slow breath in and let it out through your mouth, like a quiet sigh. In, warm air, herbal and clean. Out, anything that doesn't need to come with you into the new year. Now, gently, bring your attention to the back of your head, the place where your skull meets the pillow in real life. And imagine that area softening, as if the muscles there are melting into warm water too. Your forehead smooths. Your eyes rest heavy in their sockets. Your tongue lies low and loose. Your jaw hangs slightly, comfortable, no longer holding the day in its hinge. Your shoulders, so often lifted, so often bracing, float and settle in the water. Your arms feel heavier, your hands loosen, your fingers curl softly, as if they're no longer responsible for anything at all. And if thoughts show up, that's okay. You don't have to wrestle them. You can let them drift like distant clouds, passing behind the lighthouse beam, appearing and fading without a story. In a way, the water is teaching you something about time. It doesn't hurry. It doesn't demand that you get over it. It simply holds you and waits until your body remembers how to let go. You stay there for a while, long enough for your heartbeat to feel slower, long enough for your breath to deepen, long enough for your mind to stop scanning the horizon for problems. And outside, though you can't see it from this room, the lighthouse continues its slow sweep, patient, consistent, reassuring. When you're ready, you step out of the bath. Warm water slides from your skin, and cool air meets you for a moment. Not harsh, just crisp enough to make the towel feel heavenly. You wrap yourself in the towel, thick and soft, a quiet hug that doesn't ask questions. You pad back into the main room, and the firelight greets you again, amber and calm. Now comes the gentlest part of the night. The part that feels like turning a page without forcing a new chapter to begin loudly. On the small desk by the window, there's a notebook. A Lighthouse logbook, maybe, or just a simple journal with thick paper that loves ink. You sit down and pick up the pen. The pen is smooth in your fingers, and for once, your hands are holding something gentle, not urgent. You don't need to write a list of goals. You don't need to reinvent yourself. Tonight is not a performance review. Instead, you write 3 simple lines. Not perfect lines, just honest ones. Maybe something like, "Tonight, I chose quiet. Tonight, I kept myself safe. Tonight, I am allowed to be exactly who I am." The pen makes the softest sound on the paper. A gentle scratch, like footsteps in fresh snow, only quieter. Then, you turn the page and write a small note to your future self. Not a promise, not pressure, just a kindness. Tomorrow, or next week, or whenever you read this, I hope you remember this feeling. Safe solitude, warm inside, quiet outside. You close the notebook. Now, there's one more little ritual waiting for you. Not cleaning the whole cabin, not fixing your whole life, just one drawer. You walk to a small wooden dresser near the bed and pull open the top drawer. It slides smoothly with a soft wooden hush. Inside is a neat space and a small wooden box, just as the note promised. You place your hand over the box lid for a moment and imagine that you're holding one small thing you don't need to carry anymore. Not everything, not the whole year, just one small weight. Maybe it's an awkward conversation you replayed too many times. Maybe it's a mistake you've already learned from. Maybe it's a pressure you never agreed to, but still wore anyway. You don't have to name it perfectly. You can simply feel it as a tightness or a heaviness, and then let it go into the box like a stone dropping into a quiet well. You close the lid. A gentle click of wood on wood, and you slide the drawer shut, softly, slowly, until it rests in place. That's enough. That is more than enough. Now, the last soft step is waiting. Window seat. You take your blanket, the thick knit one from the sofa, and you carry it to the chair by the window. You sit down slowly and wrap the blanket around your shoulders, tucking it under your arms, like you're building a small, personal cocoon of warmth. The chair faces the sea, and the sea faces the sky, and the sky holds the lighthouse, turning, 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 like a calm thought that never gets tired. Outside, the night is dark, but not frightening. It's a soft darkness, the kind that belongs to rest. The window glass is cool if you touch it, and your breath fogs it gently, leaving a small oval of warmth that fades slowly and then returns with the next breath. Somewhere far away, on the horizon, you can see it begin. Not the sound, not the booming bursts that make shoulders jump, only the light. Distant fireworks blooming like silent flowers, far enough away that they've been softened by space. They appear and fade, appear and fade, like someone blinking slowly at the edge of the world. You don't need to be there. You don't need to be seen. You don't need to post proof that you're celebrating. Tonight, you are celebrating in a quieter way, by resting, by letting your body unclench, by choosing what feels right for you instead of what looks right to everyone else. The lighthouse beam sweeps across the water again, and for a moment, it catches the mist above the waves, turning it silver, then letting it go. You watch it, and your breathing begins to match it. Slow, steady, unhurried. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. You can imagine that every sweep of lighthouse light is wiping a little more noise away from your mind. Not by force, just by repetition, the way waves soften stones over time. Outside, the distant sky keeps blooming with quiet light. Inside, the cabin stays warm and still and safe. You take a sip of tea, if it's still beside you, and the warmth moves through you like a gentle message. You are allowed to be here. You are allowed to be quiet. You are allowed to be content without being loud about it. If your mind tries to argue, if it says, "Shouldn't you be doing more?" you can answer softly, "Not tonight. Not tonight. Not on this chair, under this blanket, with the sea breathing slowly beyond the glass." The world will keep spinning whether you attend the party or not. The year will still change. The clock will still move forward, even if you never watch it. And that is a relief, because it means you don't have to force the moment to be meaningful. You can let meaning arrive in small ways, like soup warming your chest, like herbs lingering on your skin, like the drawer closing on on one small burden, like the door click that kept your peace in. Your eyes feel heavier now, and if you want to, you can let them close for a moment and open again, or close and stay closed. Either is perfect, because this story will keep watch. The lighthouse will keep watch, and you can rest. In your mind, imagine standing up from the chair, slowly, comfortably, and walking toward the bed in the back room. The cabin floorboards are warm under your feet. The air is softly scented with wood smoke and lavender and tea. You pull back the blankets and slide into bed. The pillow supports your head immediately, as if it has been waiting to hold you all night. You draw the blanket up to your chest, and your shoulders drop, all on their own, without instruction. Outside the bedroom window, you can still see the lighthouse beam pass faintly across the far edge of the glass. A slow sweep, a gentle glow, then darkness again, soft and safe. And in the distance, the fireworks continue, silent and far away, like a celebration happening in someone else's dream. You don't need to go there. You are already where you need to be. Safe solitude, warm inside, quiet outside. Now, breathe in gently and breathe out longer. In and out. In and out. The year turns somewhere without you needing to watch it happen. The sea continues its slow breathing. The lighthouse continues its patient sweep. And you drift softly, quietly, into sleep. Good night, my friend.